Back here in Sacramento, California at Golden One Center. For our 2-3 matchup, the winner will take on top-seeded UCLA in the Elite Eight on Sunday afternoon. Road Blues for the champions of the ACC in the regular season and the tournament. And the home whites for the LSU Tigers. Making it way through the Southeastern Conference. And for the Blue Devils, a rocky road to open up the season. They started 3-6 and a totally different team since the LSU loss in early December. Looking to get back to the Elite Eight for the second year in a row. And for LSU, national champions under Kim Mulkey in 2023. Lost to UCLA in the Elite Eight last season, looking for another shot at the Bruins this time around. With an NCAA record, 16 games this year where they scored over 100 points. They topped the century mark in each of the first 2 rounds of this NCAA tournament, with wins over Jacksonville and Texas Tech. Duke avenged a regular season loss by beating Baylor in the second round. They can avenge another regular season loss here tonight.
Everything is accelerated with LSU. Their pace, their level of play, their electric offense, and their ability to get to the free throw line. They are one of the tops in the country in shooting free throws, and they're going to make a trip right here inside the first 15 seconds of the game.
Foul is on Delaney Thomas, her first.
For Duke, Beth, it's about rebounding. They've got to rebound to play the pace they need to win for Carol Lawson. They also need to make their length a factor on the perimeter.
Williams to the line, an 82% shooter, close to 20 points and 7 rebounds per game in her last 5. She has really come alive late. And she's got a couple to open things up for the Tigers. Our starting lineups are brought to you by Capital One. And for the Duke Blue Devils, strong in the backcourt with Jackson and Tiana Mayer. Ashland with the ball in her hands is their 3-point threat. Mayer, a terrific playmaker, running the point.
Boy, that's a couple of quick whistles to start the game. So in the paint, you got to evaluate advantage, disadvantage. Kim Mulkey already starting on the officials.
That's a foul on Zakiya Johnson. Zakiya may have gotten a piece of that shot, and then on the run out, LSU turns it over. Mulkey, 3 national championships at Baylor, 1 at LSU. Has played, assisted, and been a head coach for champions at Louisiana Tech, Baylor, and now back home. Pretty cool, Debbie. Both these head coaches, Olympic gold medalists as players for the United States. Fournier, second chance, getting on the glass. Koval got the first one, but not the second.
Good toughness on the glass by Fournier, and that's the kind of mentality you're going to have because LSU boards it, and they are tremendous on the offensive glass.
There's a look at the Capital One starting lineup for LSU. Richard wild on the shot. Offensive rebound, Koval stripped away by Mayer. For Carol Lawson's club, she is back home where her professional career started. Was a part of their 2005 WNBA championship team here in town. And now, of course, she will be the U.S. head coach for the Olympics in Los Angeles in a couple of years. Corner, 3 on the way, short from Ariana Robertson. Another offensive rebound, and Jackson, that is huge for her confidence. Trying to heat up. She's been cool from downtown of late.
Well, she's 3rd all-time in career makes for Duke, but you're right, her number's down this year, and if she sees a big basket early, that could be a good sign for Duke.
Richard to Flau'jae Johnson with the catch.
Ashton Jackson will have the toughest perimeter assignment, which is Flau'jae Johnson.
Travel there to turn it over.
Great hustle, crashing from the top of the floor, and then Jackson just steps into one.
LSU has turned it over 3 times in a row, so Mulkey will go to her bench. Malaysia Fulwiley and Grace Knox are coming on. Jackson tried to pick and roll, a little off the mark.
Everything that LSU does involves speed. They run the floor hard. They have good defensive high hands and habits on closeouts. And they are looking to put it on the deck and attack. They want to get to the paint. They get to the free throw line 18 times a game, which is one of the best in the country.
Here comes Fulwiley, one of the greatest 6 players we've seen in the college game. First at South Carolina and now at LSU. Instant offense for them. Fournier off the bounce. And a blocking foul called on the Tigers. Here's Mulkey, Naismith Hall of Famer. Only Pat and Gino with more national championships as a head coach. And only Gino and one of Kim's mentors, Leon Barmore, have better winning percentages in their careers. Mulkey a shade ahead of Pat Summitt now for her career.
21 years at Baylor, 3 national championships, 5 years at LSU, and a title in 2023. As a 3 seed.
Fournier makes it 7-2 Blue Devils early on. In the regular season matchup, they started the game beating LSU 14-1. And then LSU took charge and ended up scoring 93 points on the night in Durham back in December. Here's Meyer snaking behind the screen.
Well, it's good twist action on the top of the floor.
And Mulkey does not like the start here.
It's already 3 team fouls on LSU, so tough whistle early, but officials setting the tone. Players got to adjust.
On the inbound, Fournier walks with it.
Duke picking up with some full court pressure. And Malaysia Fulwiley is untrappable, unflappable. If you're going to try to guard her in the open floor, she is going to blow by you. You got to give her a cushion.
Mayer defending on Fulwiley. And here comes Michaela Williams. Looking for Joyner, and it is another
sloppy
LSU turnover, their 3rd already. Jackson for 3. Long rebound for Wiley, and here we go. End to end. Step through. Malaysia, no. Joyner has it blocked by Robertson. And now Duke will push. Riley Nelson. Fournier, tough catch, and she'll get the finish.
How in the world did she catch that and finish on the left side of the floor?
And I think got scraped. No whistle on the shot. A 9-2 start for Duke and a timeout for LSU.
Toby Fournier with that 6'6" wingspan, running the floor hard and finishing off the glass. The Duke Blue Devils off to a hot start. LSU turnovers have led to runouts. Offensive rebounding have led to points for Duke. Toby Fournier getting going early. Jackson off the offensive glass and then running the floor. Look at Toby Fournier right here. Gets smacked in the face. No foul called. Ouch, that one hurt.
Does get the finish. It's a 9-0 Duke run. And a hot start for the Blue Devils. LSU without a basket the first 4 minutes. Remember, they led, Duke did huge in the December showdown. LSU was able to rally and win it going away. And now Flau'jae Johnson, a trip to the free throw line.
The only time I agree in following your shot is as the shooter when you know it's off. And Flau'jae knew it was short, so she follows her miss, and now she's going to the line. And this is where LSU can do some damage. They're 0 for 5 from the floor, but they have made a couple of free throws.
Fournier called for her first foul, so Flau'jae playing in her 141st game at LSU. Recent addition to the 2,000-point club. Debbie, she's got a championship. She's trying to get a second trip to a Final Four. And her name is embedded with some of the all-time greats. One more win for her will tie her with Sylvia Fowles as the winningest player in LSU history.
Well, one of the all-time greats is sitting over there on the bench.
Sure
that's
is.
got a statue, and that's Simone Augustus, two-time Wade Trophy winner.
Offensive foul called on the screen set by Jordan Wood. Yeah, Simone and the other coaches have a few more things on their plate due to the recent departure of Gary Reedus and Daphne Mitchell. Gary, the new head coach at Rutgers, Daphne, his assistant. Wiley fouled on the drive, and it's another trip to the line coming up.
It's all downhill. Space, open, shooters in the corner, and Wiley is challenging to keep in front.
Great talking to LSU yesterday, and Wiley, you know, describe your game for us. Just going out there hooping.
Yeah,
is what she told us, Debbie.
Yeah,
Just
she's
going out there hooping.
What does that mean? She said, playing, like going to the basket, getting some stops. 6th player of the year in the SEC. And you know what? We don't have a national 6th player of the year. I think we ought to consider.
I sense you're starting something
Yeah,
here.
I'm starting it right now.
We need a sponsor.
We need Muffin McGraw to sponsor the award.
9-5, LSU trying to chip away at the free throw line. Nelson gets that one to go. Good play in the paint so far for Duke.
Taina Mayer, the point guard for Duke's got her hands full right here with Wiley. Look at her turn the corner. My goodness, so fast.
Off glass for 2 for the junior from Columbia, South Carolina.
And the thing is she doesn't need a screen. She just needs the ball.
Tough shot on the turnaround from Robertson, the freshman from San Antonio.
Look at that, clear it out for her in transition. Like, gonna bring a little drag screen right here.
Nice roll by Knox, muscles that one up and in.
Actually, it was just a single side ball screen. Quick hitters, quick strike, LSU.
Knox, a part of the #1 recruiting class that arrived in Baton Rouge this year. Mayer can't get that one to drop. Flau'jae with a nice save. Out of Savannah, Georgia, the last link to their championship team. Same play, this time Duke is there defensively. And a 13-9 Blue Devil lead here in the first.
Getting to the rim and finishing at the rack, going to be really important in this one. And then try to keep her in front. Good luck.
How about LSU and the numbers that they are chasing? Got to go back to Providence and Tracy Liss back in 1991 to get a team that scored like this. They just beat Long Beach State's record that was set in 1987. And the 50-plus wins, they joined the UConn 09-10 team to win by that much in their first 2 games. You need to know this. Brought to you by Intuit QuickBooks. And those are the numbers in which LSU, Debbie, leads all of D1.
I mean, look how impressive that is. The 95 is best in the nation. Paint points. Most of that is off the bounce or in their transition game, not with a back to the basket. And of course, their offensive rebounding is dominant. And they have a great bench led by Malaysia Wiley. And they rebound. Just eye-popping numbers for LSU. When you take a look at their offensive numbers in this tournament, look at the first 2 games, plus 100, 108 points. That's a lot of ball right there.
Wow. It started out for LSU with the weakest non-conference schedule of any Power 5 team, but that was okay with how strong the SEC was this year. They ended up playing more Quad 1 games than UConn, Minnesota, TCU, and Notre Dame when all was said and done at the end of the year.
And when the first net ranking came out with the schedule that they played, they were #1 in the net. Now, explain that to me.
Mayer, nice breakaway and a lay-in.
It's called offensive efficiencies, is what it's called. And more than half the SEC played double-digit Quad 4 games, as well as LSU. So it was early for them, and then the tough schedule late.
Here's for Wiley. Calling for the screen. Steps back for the 3 and hits it over Mayer.
Here we go.
She's got 7 already.
Phil Wiley was a great player in the state of South Carolina. I watched her in high school because I live in South Carolina. Terrorize all those high school kids.
Nice feed from Wood. He continued to score almost at will down the lane. Flage. Here's Amaya Joyner looking to face up. Blocked by Robertson.
Good long rebound off that long miss. Good finish by Mayer. Good feed in their high-low game as well.
Foul on the shot. And this will be the 4th trip to the line for LSU. Williams is already 2 for 2. Under 3 to go here in the first quarter of our Sweet 16 finale of the night. 4 more games coming your way tomorrow. Already advancing UConn, Notre Dame, and here in Sacramento, UCLA. So the Bruins await the winner of this one on Sunday afternoon.
You know, you get to March and you expect possessions to shorten, the court to shrink a little bit, transition not as easily to come by. But I don't think that's the case with LSU. They are always putting pressure on you with their transition game.
Frenetic and all the way around and down. 12 points in the paint already for Duke. All 5 on the perimeter right now for LSU. Johnson defended by Jackson. Tough shot on the drive. Offensive rebound won't go. Ping-ponging out to Riley Nelson.
Degree of difficulty, tough on that last one. Really slow developing for Duke.
A lot of dribbling. Robertson, corner. She's been a stud for them here in the first. She averages 8 per game. She's already got 9. All ACC freshman team member. Michaela Williams gets that one to go.
Tough twos, right? Carol Lawson over there cheering on her team for their defensive effort. She told us yesterday 70% of the shots LSU took were contested shots in their first matchup in Cameron, which LSU won.
She talked about being in their airspace and making everything as difficult as they could. Big screen out top. Robertson on the roll has it stripped away. Flage for 3. Jordan Wood able to tip it to herself. Robertson from the elbow. Taylor Williams has it. The counter attack for Wiley.
She's into the scoring area in 4 or 5 seconds up the floor.
Deep three behind Koval, and she hits it. She's got 10.
And she has really improved for Wiley on this end of the floor. They're going to flatten it out and go one-on-one right here.
And basically hold for one. Here comes the screen. Mayer uses it, pulls up mid and hits.
Well executed. The ghost action for the bucket.
Williams with the chuck. And the Duke Blue Devils out to the first quarter lead over LSU. The NCAA Women's Championship is presented by Capital One. What's in your wallet? The Sweet 16 is presented by Coca-Cola. Fan work is thirsty work. Sarah Lawson, the former star at the University of Tennessee, getting it done in her 6th season as the head coach at Duke. They're on the doorstep of a return to the Final Four, looking for that breakthrough. Back-to-back ACC tournament champs. Oh, so close a year ago in the Elite Eight, bounced by South Carolina, and this is the history they're chasing. The great Gail Gestincourt's 4 trips to the Final Four. 2 of those years, they played for the national championship. And the drought's been 20 years since they have gotten to the Final Four. They're looking to break that here this year with the ACC Coach of the Year leading the way.
Well, this is their 6th year. And last year, they were 1 4th quarter away from knocking off South Carolina and getting a chance to advance to the Final Four. They got their hands full with the pace of LSU, as you heard Coach Lawson mention to Jess.
For Wiley, still hot. She's got a dozen. She's 4 for 4. The rest of the team is 2 for 14. They shot under 30% in that first quarter, while Duke was over 50%.
Let's see if LSU can pick up their defense a little bit here and take Duke deeper into their options and the shot clock.
Diana Thomas to Jackson, and now Fournier draws the foul.
I said good luck keeping her in front. Look how tight that handle is. She doesn't need a lot of space, just a little sliver to the rim. So dangerous when she gets to the paint, but when Malaysia Wiley goes to the paint, she is going to score. She's not going to pass.
They just drew the second foul on Zakiya Johnson. Koval is set to check back in as Fournier hits the free throw. Kara Lawson told us she has confidence when a game is on the line, despite the fact that statistically, this is the worst free throw shooting team in the Sweet 16.
Well, you have to have confidence, right? I mean, you got to keep building it with your team. And Toby Fournier off to an early start, 4 for 4 from the line for a player that shoots 57% from the free throw line. Now Jackson is on for Wiley. She is considered Duke's best perimeter defender.
For Wiley? Fournier with a steal.
She goes to the paint. She is a much better scorer than she is a passer.
Jackson looking to go coast to coast, fouled by Knox.
Can't bail him out on that play.
Grace, the freshman from Las Vegas.
But, you know, Beth, to Jackson's credit, no one stopped the ball. And so if you don't see 2 hips, 2 shoulders, you take it to the rim.
Coverage of the NCAA Men's Basketball Championship continues on CBS and TBS. For tournament game times and networks, go to NCAA.com. Hello to Duke fans that watch the men win tonight.
Wow, that's a huge win for John Shire.
Moving on to the Elite Eight over St. John's. I think now the women try to match it.
I think John Shire's the coach of the year on the men's side. He's done a fantastic job at Duke. And Cameron Boozer, player of the year.
Williams Can't knock that down. Knox able to track it down.
You got to be able to be disciplined on guarding dribble penetration and force those jump shots, and then you got to rebound. That's the game plan for Duke.
LSU, one of just a handful of teams shooting 50% from the floor this season, but they are just 30% so far against a Duke team that, under Kara Lawson, the calling card has been their defense. Flaugier will check back in. She is 0 for 3. Michaela Williams 1 for 5. Just to start things off, they're two of their top 3 scorers. Oh, it's pretty spin by Flaugier, but no finish. Woods wide open. And off the side of the glass, but there's Delaney Thomas.
Is that a pass?
Where the offensive rebound. Let's see if they give her the assist on that. But the Duke Blue Devils getting it done here in the first half. Nice step through for Flaugier for 2.
Well, Duke's out rebounding LSU, and that's one of the keys. We talked about rebounding to play the pace.
Fournier.
And every bounce is going their way.
She's got 8. And a steal here by Mayer. Fournier for 3. Short.
I'm not sure that's the shot.
No. For Wiley, the wraparound behind the back. And there's Thomas getting fouled by Koval, her second.
Toby Fournier in transition gets the ricochet. That's too easy. Back-to-back bounces for Duke. One off the side of the backboard, and this one a deflection by LSU. LSU needs to play with a little more discipline offensively.
Yes.
I mean, they've got to move the ball. They're a quick strike offense, so it's not like they're trying to get into their 3rd and 4th options offensively. They're trying to put pressure on you off the bounce right away.
5 turnovers, just 7 baskets so far for Duke, or for LSU. Mayer scores another one, and that's a 3 for the Blue Devils. And they have a double-digit lead here in the second quarter.
No panic over there by the LSU coaching staff, though. Not calling timeout either.
Flaugier, wild shot. Grace Knox and 1.
Bob Starkey and Kim Mulkey yelling at their team to run an offense. Right now, everything is just off the bounce. Grace Knox doing a great job on the glass for an and 1.
And that is the second foul on Delaney Thomas. So a starter sits for the Blue Devils. And Grace Knox will get to the line.
And Delaney Thomas has been their best player through the ACC tournament into the NCAA tournament. A tremendous offensive rebounder.
Robertson is back out there, and Knox, a foul off the ball, and now she has 2 to join Zakiya Johnson and Kate Koval.
You have to evaluate advantage, disadvantage. The ball wasn't even in the front court yet. The ball was in the back court when the whistle was blown on the block.
Here comes Nelson. Fournier burying the defender. They attack the player with 2 fouls, but she misses the layup. Flaugier, another contested shot, and the tip won't go. Flaugier is 1 for 7. Michaela Williams 1 for 5 here in the first half.
Jordan Wood, your 6'4" three-point specialist off the Iverson cut.
Riley Nelson with the curl, and it is all Blue Devils right now. Leads back up to 10.
LSU has not made Duke play any defense. They've just gone quick score. And Duke has done a nice job offensively. We always talk about their defense, but their offense has been excellent here in the first half.
They're shooting 56%, Debbie. Wiley's the only one keeping LSU in the game right now. She's got 14 and gets a tip there. Again, the ricochet goes Duke's way. And there's Fournier, three-point chance.
LSU needs a deep breath and a come together right now.
Yep.
Fournier making herself available, drawing the foul, getting to the free throw line.
Mulkey not liking what she's watching so far in this first half. Fournier, her first miss at the line. She's got 12 to lead Duke. LSU shooting just 32% so far.
There's the switch you want. You got Fournier.
Williams got her up in the air, but the off-balance shot won't go. LSU wanted a foul. Fournier.
Another
tipped around. Nelson gets him another chance. Jackson open look for three. In and out. For Wiley. Slices her way to the rim. 16 in the first half. Jackson, good leadership to set up in the half court here. Uses the Fournier screen. Force the shot though. For Wiley. Bella Hines. Nice bounce pass. Joyner, count it.
That is running offense. You get a ball reversal, you get an attack of a closeout, you get a duck in on the weak side, and you drop it off for an and one. That is what Kim Mulkey wants her team to do. Nice execution, and Joyner with the finish.
We've got much more to get to when we see you back here at the half, ladies.
Looking forward to that. Catch everybody up to date on the day. For Wiley's got 6 buckets. The rest of the team has 5 for LSU.
Yeah. Flau'jae Johnson and Michaela Williams have combined to go 2 for 13.
The other side for the Blue Devils, Fournier in double digits. Good contributions from Robertson and Mayer as well.
Toby Fournier's already drawn 4 fouls in the game.
Fournier, nice pick and roll for Toby.
I'm starting to think she can catch just about anything. She's got great hands on that pick and roll.
14 points for her.
I bet next year she'll be a pick and pop 5 for Kara Lawson. She's working on that perimeter game.
For Wiley. Well, Coach McGraw, they still can't keep her in front. She'll drive and lay it up and in.
Switch, and she takes it to the hole.
18 in the first half.
Bella Hines getting extended minutes here.
Foul on the shot, and Mulkey is right in the face of one of the officials, Rod Creech, who's out there with Anthony Robinson and Polani Spurlock Welsh tonight.
Coach Mulkey wanted a foul on the screen. She's not complaining about this one right here because this is clearly a foul right in front of her.
Jackson to the line. Duke 6 for 8. LSU 9 for 10 at the stripe. LSU led 2-0, and then a 9-0 run for Duke. They've had the lead ever since. Under 3 to go here in the first half.
For Wiley rejects the screen, gets the rescreen and the switch.
Lost it. Punched it loose, got it back for her teammate, and Joyner scores.
LSU getting a warning for touching the basketball after it clears the net.
Tigers looking for any kind of spark right now to get them going. Duke has controlled this one from the start. Mayer.
Well, Carol Lawson, when the game slows down, is dialing it up. She's getting whatever she wants.
Williams for three, hits it. Mayer looking to counter, and it's LSU ball.
It's just a great pass, skip over the top. This is how they put pressure on you in their transition game. This is how they average 95 points a game to lead the nation.
See if they go back to Michaela here. For Wiley, working on Fournier, no. Joyner, good rebound, stripped away by Mayer. Duke with numbers on the run. Jackson, the three-point shooter in transition. Robertson, offensive rebound. Another one for Duke. Riley Nelson tips it. And finally, LSU clears, and here's for Wiley. Williams, Jackson with a big steal. Counted and a foul.
What a play by Jackson. She anticipates defensively, instinctively, that pass was going to be going over to the corner. And she takes a risky play right here. She does a nice job of getting a deflection, and then, I mean, come on, you got to avoid that or make sure she doesn't score it, one or the other.
I mean, that's the basketball IQ to go along with Duke degrees and certificates in sociology, liberal arts, marketing and management, trying to get her master's as well. Has stayed loyal to the Duke program over the years. The senior from China, Texas. For Wiley, looking for some separation. Here's the switch.
Now just get out of the way.
Well, Knox brought the defender to her, and she has to give it up. Knox, mid-range. Joyner, blocked by Robertson.
Coach Mulkey can't wait to get this team into the locker room. I can tell you that right now. Duke is hustling. They're getting every 50-50 ball. They have been the tougher team. On the glass, defensively, putting pressure on LSU's defense.
That's a foul on Duke, number 2 on Riley Nelson. And Williams is checked out. Rakes the face.
Yikes.
She stays in there. She's been terrific on the offensive glass for LSU. Hines, tough
Like,
pass.
what kind of pass is that?
And now you're giving it back to Duke with the shot clock off. Just some sloppy play in the first half for the Tigers. They're going to talk about their decision-making in the locker room at the half. See if Duke goes back to Fournier.
Yeah.
He's got 14 to lead the way.
They flattened it out last time to the baseline. This time they're going 1-4 high.
Lawson saying, wait, let that clock bleed, and now here they go. Jackson with the Fournier screen. Ashland to Toby. Spins away from a double team, and they won't get the shot off in time. At the half, 20 minutes away from an Elite Eight. It's a 47-40 Duke lead. And the most first half points allowed all year by LSU. Coca-Cola and a beautiful night here in Sacramento. We are 20 minutes away from sending a team to the Elite Eight. The Duke Blue Devils with the halftime advantage over LSU. Beth Mowens, Debbie Antonelli, Jess Sims, Violet Palmer, as we check out our court coverage brought to you by Geico. It was a whole lot of the Blue Devils.
Well, I mean, Duke got every loose ball, they got every hustle play, and everything bounced in their direction. I thought they did a terrific job of beating LSU at their own game. They were tougher, they played in transition, they finished at the rim. They did a really nice job of keeping LSU under duress. I mean, look at this one. Off the side of the backboard, LSU turned it over. The conversion speed and rate for Duke was outstanding, and the starters for LSU went 3 for 18 in the first half.
How about tonight's Star Stories brought to you by United Airlines? Fournier in double digits, Mayer, Robertson, and Jackson not far behind, as they look to avenge a regular season loss. They already did that in the second round to beat Baylor, trying to do it to LSU and trying to get a crack at another team, top-seeded UCLA, that beat them in the regular season. Malaysia Fulwiley was the bright spot. 18 on 7 of 9 shooting in that first half to keep them alive.
She's going to get the start here in the second half. I'm sure there was a little conversation in the locker room for Kim Mulkey about toughness and about effort and about sticking with the game plan, and how about running some offense.
Let's get it over to Jess for more.
Yeah, Beth, I caught up with Coach Mulkey coming out of the locker room, and she said, we've got to defend better, and we've got to rebound the ball. We've given them way too many second chance points, and on offense, we got to take care of the ball. We got to move, set screens. We've had 8 turnovers to their 4. But overall, she said, our energy is gone. It's like it's zapped. So she said, where is the energy? So she's hoping that it's right there.
Fulwiley with a nice assist to join her.
The way LSU plays, it only take a couple of plays to emotionally change their body language, and I think it's getting ready to happen right here.
Well, they were able to hang around really without offensive contributions from Williams and Flauget. Let's see if that's about to change too. Johnson off the bounce. Hello.
She was 1 for 7, Flauget, in the first half.
Good start for the Tigers. Mayer checks with the bench. Can they get Delaney Thomas involved? She was shackled with a couple of fouls in that first half. Mayer drains a 3.
Poor communication by LSU. Fulwiley gets stuck on the post. And now Carol Lawson is sprinting down the sideline. Did not like that call.
Going to be a block on Ashlyn Jackson.
Watch where Fulwiley is. She's all the way in the paint. There's nobody guarding Mayer. Miscommunication defensively. Uncontested triple.
Kara was pumped about that one. Fulwiley feeds Williams. Fouled on the shot.
And Flauget Johnson cut right into the post up of Michaela Williams and looks immediately and says, my bad. She recognized it right away. Williams going to go to the free throw line.
That's the 3rd foul on Riley Nelson. Duke essentially is only got 7 players. That's who they've been running with all year long after a pair of early season injuries to Jaden Donovan and Emily Skinner. Jordan Woods set to check in for Nelson, but she's got to wait. So Williams, who's an 82% free throw shooter, all SEC, 2nd year in a row. She's been honorable mention All-American. And now Wood can come on. So LSU, Debbie, was able to get points for Williams and Flauget early in this 3rd. Try and get them cooking. Oh, she almost had a pick. Jackson, Mayer looking for another 3. Box out Grace Knox. Williams Ooh, tough pass. Knox is there. Maybe the bounces are going to start going LSU's way.
Exactly.
They were going Duke's way in the first half. Flage knocks it out of bounds.
We talked about Duke's hustle, toughness, and the way the ball bounced their way in the first half, and they were up by 7. They didn't really capitalize as much on the turnovers by LSU or the offensive rebounds. But they did build a 7-point lead. Now it's back to a 1-possession game.
Jackson, Flage trying to keep her on the left side of the floor. Here's Fournier with a touch. Leans into the defender and draws a foul on Joyner.
You just have to understand that she has an unorthodox way of scoring in the post. She's athletic and she's long. And you have to be disciplined in walling up against Fournier.
Second foul on Joyner. Fournier is 4 of 5 from the stripe. Hey, for the 6th straight year, every NCAA Women's Championship game is on the networks of ESPN. For more information, go to ncaa.com. ABC doubleheader starts tomorrow at 12:30 Eastern with Michigan, LSU, and Texas, Kentucky. We'll punch 4 more tickets to the Elite 8 tomorrow. South Carolina, Oklahoma, TCU, Virginia tomorrow night on ESPN as Phil Riley continues to shoot lights out. She's 8 for 10 tonight. Her 6th career tournament game of 20 points or better.
See, when the game gets to the second half, Kara Lawson calls every set in front of her bench. This team is used to playing with this kind of cadence in the second half.
Jackson back to Fournier, blocked by Riley and then blocked by Johnson. 3.9 on the clock, and it's actually out of bounds off of Duke.
I mean, Phil Wiley just is so good at creating separation. And then on the defensive end, she's improved significantly. But look at that athleticism and that vertical.
Chance to tie it or take their first lead since it was 2-0 in the first minute. Williams, count it, and a free throw coming for the LSU lead.
Look at this move. Wow. She steps around the D, shows the fake, gets the defender leaning. 1, 2, and slivers through to the glass.
Told us yesterday she came to LSU because she wanted to be pushed by this coaching staff. She wanted to get better. She was benched earlier this season, about a month ago, against Ole Miss. Coaching staff thought she was coasting and not being aggressive enough.
And what did Kim Mulkey tell us? She had a text from Michaela, and Michaela texted her back, and that was the end of it. And then the body language changed, and she's been going really well right now for LSU.
She was pushed, and she has responded. Nice pickup by Wood on the offensive glass. Duke back in front. Flage gives it up for Knox. In and out. Flage offensive rebound. Oh, got it with the left. Duke wants a double dribble, no whistle. Mayer with the hesitation, pass deflected by Jada Richard. Michaela Williams for 3, short. Nobody there to rebound. Mulkey did not like that shot. Mayer spins and draws the foul.
Compounded mistakes. The tough shot and then the foul on the other end. Jordan Wood making herself available with that 6'4" frame, and then look at the reach by Flage with the left.
Diana Mayer to the line for the first time. Blue Devils are 10 for 12. After a season at Boston College, now a 3-year starter as the Duke point guard. Top 10 all-time in ACC assists. She was on the All-ACC first team this year. She brings the toughness, according to Kara Lawson. She's the backbone for this unit. Duke on top.
Going with 2 bigs on the lineup right now for LSU. They like to go 4 guards.
For Wiley on the drive. Robertson knocks it out.
What a play.
She and Malaysia exchanging some words after the play.
Duke second in the nation in block shots.
For Wiley, inbounds to Joyner for 2. Pace picking up here in the first 5 minutes of this third quarter.
Boy, Joyner really had to sprint to be able to defend Fournier. It's really good execution right here. You got to keep the ball from coming to the middle of the floor if you're guarding the inbounder.
Back to Mayer. Hits another 3.
That's her 3rd triple of the game. Go ahead, Tiana Mayer, and shoot till your arm falls off.
She's got 17. Lead the way for the Blue Devils. Under 5 to go in this third quarter. Flage off the fake. And it comes out to Jackson. Numbers for Duke, 3-on-1. Wood with the layup. Good run by the Blue Devils off the long rebound. Johnson defended by Jackson. Flage drives, scoops it up with the left hand again. Much better in the third quarter for her. She now has 9. Down on the deck, that's a play that Mayer was able to make. That gets Duke a possession.
Tiana Mayer filling it up. Jordan Wood running the floor.
Duke, that it turned, was after an LSU loss in early December. And now their vengeance tour is underway. They avenged an early loss to Baylor in the second round, trying to do the same thing to LSU here. And a possible date awaits with UCLA in the Elite Eight on Sunday.
It's an incredible coaching job. That's part of the reason why she was ACC Coach of the Year. She's won 13 gold medals as a player and a coach with USA Basketball. Of course, she'll be the national team coach coming up.
She told us they weren't playing hard enough early in the season, and that changed once they started into the ACC with a win over Virginia Tech. They rattled off 17 wins in a row.
Well, the other thing is their offense got better. Addition by subtraction, they had an injury that was a really good defensive player named Jaden Donovan, and teams played 5-on-4 with her on the lineup.
Let's get it over to Jess.
Beth, it's so funny that you brought up how hard they're playing, because the first thing Coach said in the Duke huddle, Coach Lawson said, "I love how hard you're playing." She said, "Keep running and getting stuff in transition. We're wearing them down exactly like this." And she said on the end of the defensive end, you got to hit the glass. And at the end of the huddle, what I love so much, she said, "I love being in this with you." And the whole crew was just all fired up.
Well, they've got the 2-point advantage here, Jess, with 3 minutes to go in the third. Trying to get back to the Elite Eight for the second year in a row.
LSU makes a run to start the half. Duke counters. They managed that run. You got to believe LSU's got another one in them.
Flage big in the third quarter for her and Michaela Williams for the Tigers.
Beautiful stop and go.
Ties it up. Fournier doubled down by Richard, forces her to give it up. Jackson on the drive, lefty layup.
She gets her hips and shoulders by her defender and keeps that leverage to the rim.
Flaugier with the stutter step, had it knocked loose. She'll try again, and there's Fournier with a rebound. Mayer finds a shooter, extra pass, Wood, corner, in and out. Another hustle play by Mayer helps Fournier get to the line.
Flaugier driving hard right here. And finishing. And then Jackson, look at that leverage right there. Hips and shoulders game. Once you get your hips past that defender, you hang on to that advantage.
That foul on Grace Knox. That is her third. Nelson and Thomas with 3 apiece for Duke. Delaney Thomas limited to just 7 minutes of court time tonight for Duke. And Toby Fournier beating the odds here at the line. She's now 7 for 8. Usually just a 50-50 proposition.
Well, it's kind of a hack-a-shack situation in a late game with Fournier, but this is going to make me rethink that strategy.
She's stepping up. She'll check out, and here comes Thomas. Can she get anything going with some minutes?
I mean, it's a 2-possession game, and LSU hasn't played their best basketball yet, and Duke has something to do with that. Their pressure has been good, their ability to keep pace on the glass. Remember, at the beginning of the game, I talked about, could Duke stay with them on the glass, and could their length begin to issue? And their length has been an issue.
And they've been rebounding well as Richard pulls up and pops. Under 2 minutes to go in the third. Thomas doesn't even look at the bucket.
She's not a threat to score from up there, but she's dangerous, crashing the glass from the top of the floor.
They gotta hurry. Mayer had it knocked loose. Look at Richard diving down on the deck.
I think that's a shot clock violation before it's a jump ball.
A terrific play by the sophomore, and it is a shot clock violation.
Yeah, the arrow is with LSU, so you don't want that to be a jump ball. You want to maintain possession there. You want that to be a shot clock violation.
Flaugier looking for a path to the bucket, and she ties it up again.
A couple of screens, some patience, a mature possession in front of Kim Mulkey's bench.
Mayer steps through, left hand, in and out. Again, down on the deck is Richard. Held ball gets LSU the ball.
There's one screen, and there was a screen before that, and she gets the mismatch and takes the big to the basket. Scoops it up so Robertson cannot go, block it.
Richard for 3, no. They do not get Flaugier or Michaela Williams a touch. Mayer. Duke wants to make sure they get it into the right hands. Mayer uses the screen, mid-range, good for Tiana Mayer. 19 now for her.
Oh, Richard calling off Michaela Williams and not letting her have the ball on the top of the floor.
Richard forced to take a tough shot in a heave. And disarray at the end of the quarter for LSU. The NCAA Women's Championship is presented by Capital One on ESPN. Is brought to you by Geico. It feels good to Geico. It's just a 1 rebound difference in favor of LSU. Malaysia Fulwiley has been leading the way tonight with 20 points, Debbie.
18 in the first half, only 1 bucket here in the second. But she can terrorize. She is a menace. She is tough off the bounce.
Tonight's Players Spotlight brought to you by Hilton. So the positive for Fulwiley, but a strange ending to that that third quarter for LSU.
Well, there's one thing about confidence and understanding time and score and being on the floor as the point guard or lead guard. But when you're waving off the All-American, going late clock saying, I got it, and then you don't have it, that's interesting. And right in front of Coach Mulkey, who gave her the stare down. I thought there was a possession that might come back to hurt LSU.
Yeah, they did not get a good shot up. So in a 2-point game, let's see. Under 10 minutes to decide who will play UCLA for the right to go to the Final Four. That matchup coming up on Sunday. Koval blocks the pass, leads to the breakout. Fulwiley missed the layup.
How about the play by Ashton Jackson? Ashlyn Jackson on the hustle. Most people would have said, I'll never catch her foot speed, I'll just let her have a layup. Instead, she never gives up on the play.
And it's out of bounds off of Koval.
Missed opportunities.
Got to be able to finish at the rim. Here's Jackson. The blow by, 3 on the way, no. It's a 1 and done that time. Joyner's got it. Jackson now 3 for 8 as Williams takes it the length of the floor.
Well, that's their game. They got to get on her quicker. And that's having Jordan Wood having to guard on the perimeter. Going with 2 bigs for LSU, but when their guards get out in the open court, look at Williams. She's got Wood backpedaling the whole time. And when you see that, that's the right decision.
LSU wants to appeal who this went out of bounds off of. As you see the finish, and now they're waving it off. Now they're waving it off. Ball was Duke ball. It will stay that way. Remember, if you appeal and lose, it costs you a timeout.
Yeah, and they have 3 remaining.
Jackson, mid-range, got it. Senior trying to extend her career a couple more days. Nice pick by Thomas. Took it right away from Flage. And Delaney. And 1. Johnson riding her the whole way up the floor and wouldn't let her go.
I mean, this is just a great pick right here. That's the length of Duke on the perimeter. Really nice job by Delaney Thomas to play through the contact and get the and 1 opportunity. She's only played 9 minutes, plus the start of the 4th quarter in this game.
Essentially out of foul trouble with the 3. Johnson will check out probably briefly. Trying to catch your breath. Williams going to work. Bothered by Jordan Wood, and it's Duke ball.
Duke is the 2nd best shot blocking team in the country, and they keep driving in there into a crowd. It's one thing in transition when the floor is open, but it's another when Duke's loading up their defense. LSU has not hit a lot of 3s, and they don't take a lot. That allows teams to camp in the paint and take away penetration in the quarter court.
Who can stay poised? Who can execute down the stretch here? That's been a bugaboo for LSU in their losses. And Duke taking charge here in the 4th quarter.
This is just a great individual play right here. I mean, the discipline on LSU defensively sometimes is questioned by Duke off the bounce. right? Because they are running stuff, plays. They're getting to their second and third sides. They're getting into their third options offensively. You're making LSU execute defensively for 30 seconds in a quarter court.
They are playing up-tempo when they need to, executing in the half court when they have to. For Wiley, that's the 6th block shot for Duke.
You can't do it all by yourself if you're LSU. You got to move the ball. This again, into traffic.
Trying to stem an 8-0 run right now for the Blue Devils.
Duke just keeps responding.
Got to go through Williams and Fulwiley every time up now for LSU. And now Duke can extend the lead. Mayer, Fournier, another chance at a three-point play. Duke up by 10.
Fournier gets great position, and then you have to stay vertical, and you see she comes down with her hands. That's a foul. You got to make Toby Fournier finish.
And that's the 4th on Knox. It is an 11-0 Blue Devil run.
That's the 7th foul that Toby Fournier has drawn on the LSU defense.
They are dominating in the 4th quarter, outscoring LSU 11-2. Johnson stays on the Tiger bench for the time being. Richard, mid-range and a quick timeout for Kim Mulkey. 78-69, 7:17 to go. Time for tonight's Slam Dunk matchup, brought to you by Wendy's. And since this play, Debbie, an 11-4 Duke run.
Well, Duke's been disciplined. You heard Carol Lawson talk about being disciplined on the defensive end, and they've done that. They've used their length. They've stayed with LSU on the glass. They've kept pressure on LSU's defense. They've made them work on that end of the floor. There have not been a lot of easy baskets either way. But Duke's on an 11-2 run since the start of this 4th quarter.
With 3 straight and ones, and Flau'jae Johnson stays on the bench coming out of that timeout. She is not in any foul trouble. Mayer, Fournier. It's been Duke that's had the half-court execution when they've needed it so far tonight. Thomas blocked by Koval. Richard.
Advantage.
On the run with Fulwiley.
That makes it a 3-possession game. Duke's got to be careful here. They don't try to take too much air out of the ball. They got to stay aggressive.
Fulwiley almost got the steal. Under 10 on the shot clock.
Don't foul.
Mayer uses the Fournier screen. Wood offensive rebound. Saves it in to Thomas for an easy layup.
Another loose ball into the hands of Duke. Opportunistic on the glass.
They did this in the ACC championship game. We're all over the O boards. That was the difference maker. And they're doing it again tonight. Williams trying to create some space. Richard, fade away. Got it. She's got 6.
She's made a couple of baskets in a row.
Five and a half to play for a spot in the Elite Eight. Might have been a double dribble on the Blue Devils. And now the shot clock's winding down. Jackson, Mayer, Got Fulwiley to blow by. What a play by Taina. And Fulwiley blew by on the closeout with the shot clock winding down.
Discipline.
Under 5 to go. The Blue Devils inching closer to the upset.
That's a tough shot.
Jackson, 3 in transition, way short. And finally, Flaugier will come back when we come back. The NCAA Women's Championship is presented by Capital One. What's in your wallet? The 3-seed Duke with a 10-point lead over the 2-seed LSU. And we are into clutch time, under 5 to go. Flaugier Johnson checking back into the game for LSU, Debbie.
Well, they got to get her going. And look at her career, a champion. An opportunity for potentially 3 Elite Eights, 2,000 points plus, and 1 win shy of the school record for number of W's in a career. She's played 25 minutes. She's not had a great game to this point, but she could certainly change that right now.
Can she keep her LSU career alive over the weekend, or is it the Blue Devils with their outstanding backcourt today as Fulwiley drives and scores? Can you pressure Duke? Can you turn them over with the likes of Mayer and Jackson handling the ball?
Duke does turn it over 15 times a game, but look at that attack off the bounce. And there's a stop and a rebound.
And a held ball will go to LSU. But they're working on a calf muscle for Michaela Williams. She's out right now. Michaela with 16. Flaugier with 13. Fulwiley with 24. Mayer and Fournier 20+ tonight for Duke. Fulwiley, the hesitation, the drive, the wrap won't go, and there is Ashlyn Jackson. On the run with Thomas, tipped away by Richard.
There's no need to make that pass right now.
Clock's their friend.
Yeah, they got to run a little offense. They've been getting whatever they want, and they've been able to get deep into the clock and still get what they want.
Jackson working with Thomas, weaving her way for a look from 3. And I think they're going to get a box-out foul on Grace Knox.
Yes, that'll be
that is number 5. Knox is out. That's the 4th team foul. Duke, by the way, you see that 0 on your scorebook. They have not committed a foul this quarter. And Michaela Williams will come on here. So the 3 big guns are now all together on the floor for LSU.
Yeah. So this is the lineup that I think is their most productive, with 1 big, 4 guards. They can play up tempo, they can pressure, they can switch on the perimeter.
Fournier, dig down and a reach-in foul. It's going to be on Flaugier. That's her 3rd.
Kim Mulkey wants to see it on the board.
All right, so here's the subplot we talked about earlier, Debbie, with Duke, the worst free throw shooting team in the Sweet 16, but they have been money so far tonight, 17 of 19. Can they do it when it matters most here in the final 3.5 minutes? Toby is now 10 for 11. She's 56% on the season.
That's not something you were counting on if you were Kim Mulkey. Or I'm not sure if Carol Lawson was counting on it.
She gets 1 for 2. Fulwiley on the drive. Got it.
Looking for a foul.
She's got 26, and that ties her career high.
Going to a different set. We haven't seen Kara Lawson going into the playbook.
Fournier comes high to catch, off the bounce,
she traveled.
walked.
Good help from the strong corner. Flaugier digging in, even though Wood is a three-point shooter. Flaugier, hang and finish. I mean, excuse me, Full Wiley.
Oh boy, that looked like a foul too.
It was a foul.
And get this down to 2 possessions. Full Wiley spinning, and there is a bump and a foul on
that's
Duke.
what they need, Beth. They need to stop the clock. That's 1 team foul.
3rd on Ashlyn Jackson.
Got a ways to go before he's shooting free throws. Oh, they're going to call that on the shot.
So Full Wiley to the line. She's 2 for 2.
I'd expect some pressure right here by LSU. I would not let Mayer catch the ball. I would make somebody else bring it up. Can't get beat over the top if you're LSU.
Full Wiley gets both. Mayer has just 1 turnover in 33 minutes tonight. Jackson also with just 1 turnover, as Full Wiley has a career high now for the Tigers.
I'd come and run and jump right here. See if you can get a turnover. You had her in the corner.
Jackson, they clear out the left side for her to attack Koval. Bothers the shot, and her foul on Duke will stop the clock again.
8th.
That's on Jordan Wood.
2-possession game, Beth. I'm looking for Full Wiley to drive it. Jackson on Full Wiley.
Michaela Williams faces up and scores. Here comes LSU. It's a 1-possession game.
LSU doesn't want to foul here. They want to play good D. There's a deflection.
Knocked out by Richard.
This is a strong take. Elbow, ISO.
Swim to the rim. Under 2 minutes for a spot in the Elite Eight. Shot clock's down to 10 for Duke.
Late developing. Look for the ghost action.
Mayer, Richard stays right with her. Taina has to jack one up. Scramble for the loose ball, and it will stay with Duke.
It's about rebounding right now. Kim Mulkey has 2 timeouts remaining.
One of the key storylines, Debbie, we've been talking about it all night. The top rebounding team in the country, LSU, and Duke is right there with them on the glass. Here's what's at stake. Can the Blue Devils get back? They lost last year in the Elite Eight to South Carolina. LSU lost in the Elite Eight last year to UCLA. The Bruins await the winner of this one on Sunday.
Last year in the Elite Eight game against South Carolina, there were some execution issues for Duke. And they didn't finish off the game. South Carolina made the plays with the experience that they had. And right here, let's see if LSU's experience in this situation will matter. They got to stay on the glass. 20 seconds on the shot clock.
Duke without a field goal for 3.5 minutes.
I look for Mayer to get it right back here in the corner. There she is.
That's what they look to do. Jackson. Oh, Fournier, they had her in the lane, didn't get it to her. Flaugier Into the scorer's table trying to get that loose ball.
Great hustle right here. This is a senior with a sense of urgency. Look at this athleticism, too. Good catch over there at the scorer's table.
Flaugier got a piece of that as well.
.3 has to come off the clock. But there's no tenths. Where are the tenths?
Thomas with a tough catch on the inbound. They're gonna have to hurry again. Shot clock winding down, and an offensive foul on the screen. Flaugier draws the charge, and it's the 4th on Delaney Thomas.
Wow, that is a tough.
Like she was stationary.
That is tough, but you have to have time and space. Did she have time and space?
3 could tie it for the Tigers.
They haven't made a lot of threes. I don't think they're driving it.
Williams steps by Fournier. It's a 1-point game.
Michaela Williams somewhat limping back up the floor, Beth.
She's got 20.
Got to play good D right here. Duke's got to get a good piece of execution.
Blocked by Koval on the Fournier shot, and Richard stepped on the end line.
This is why you want the ball in Michaela Williams. You get the mismatch. You got Fournier trying to guard her off the bounce, the up and under, and step through. And then Koval, more athletic, lost some weight, toned up, and makes a big play late. And there's Fulwiley.
She gets the steal on the inbound. Fulwiley. Oh, she went to the right side and missed the layup. Good hustle by Duke to get back and defend. And LSU, a missed opportunity and a huge one.
Just good D right here, no fouls. You got time. No, you did not want to foul.
And Mulkey reminding Flaugier that didn't need the foul there. And Fulwiley, who does not like to go with the left hand, Debbie, went to the right and ran into more traffic.
Well, how about Mayer hustling back to take away, beat her to the spot.
Mulkey can't bear to watch it. 4th foul on Flaugier. Jackson can make it a 3-point lead.
Got time to advance the ball if you choose to. Now, Mulkey sometimes doesn't like to call the timeout. She'd rather use her speed in the open floor.
This is another senior right here at the strike for the Blue Devils. Missed them both. And I think there might be an appeal here from Duke. The ruling on the floor is out of bounds off of the Blue Devils. LSU ball.
Duke's taking a look at it on the iPad right here to see if they should challenge it.
That looked like Thomas may have gotten it last on the follow-through.
This is where you got to trust.
The call on the floor is LSU ball. Duke is appealing this call.
It's a good appeal. Gives both coaches a chance to regroup, reconnect. Now, if this is Duke's ball, LSU's going to have to foul right away. If it is LSU's ball, I believe Kim Mulkey will call timeout and advance it.
If it does cost Duke a timeout, they would be down to 2. 2 as well for LSU.
Conclusive evidence.
And let's bring in Violet Palmer here, our rules analyst.
We want to make sure that we realize we need clear and conclusive evidence to overturn this.
So the call is LSU ball. Did you see any clear evidence to change it?
No, I did not.
Thank you, Violet. It is a Duke appeal.
All right, I love it. This is what you start in the summer to do. You get ready for moments like this, execution situations every day in practice. Every single day you have to be working on time and score. If you're not, you better start doing it. The game has progressed so much.
If it's LSU ball, Debbie, you got several different options.
You got a lot of options off the bounce, and Duke has not been able to contain dribble penetration. So you got full Wiley and you got Williams.
They would look to attack the rim.
And I don't think I would wait too long, Beth. I would go right at it and for an offensive rebound as well. Then if you don't score, you have time to extend the game with a foul.
Usually you'd be looking, right, I think, Violet, for like, is there any change in the spin of the ball? Is it redirect at all? It certainly did not appear in that shot.
They really are looking to see if the direction of the ball, but they're really looking to see, look at the hands to see possibly whose hand it went off of. And watching this video, it's really going to be tough to change it.
You didn't see any of Flage's fingers bend. Coaches talk about details at the end of the game. The officials talk about that as well.
No game slippage. I mean, look at the emotion in the building.
Also, if it does go to LSU, Debbie,
Duke has a foul to give.
crazy how things can go full circle too. We've showed it a few times. Richard waving off the All-American Michaela Williams at the end of the third quarter, and they did not get a good shot off that could have cost them 2 points. For Wiley and Williams have scored the last 10 points, 4 in a row for Michaela Williams, to get LSU back into this thing. Winner meets UCLA in the Elite Eight Sunday afternoon. Another sweet Elite Eight matchup already set with UConn facing Notre Dame in Fort Worth. And it looks like the officials have a decision. And so there you go, Debbie getting the word.
Yeah.
Violet Palmer right on top of it. Thank you, Violet.
Call stands, LSU ball. Kim Mulkey will call the timeout, I believe, and advance it here.
She would have then 1 left. It's an 8-0 run for LSU over the last 3 minutes.
After review, the call on the floor stands. It was last touched off Duke.
Ashlyn Jackson, an 83% free throw shooter.
Duke will lose a timeout.
Missed 2 in a row. And a chance now for LSU.
You got to cut hard. You got to meet your pass. For Duke, I'm taking a foul on the dribble down. Here's the other thing. I talk about this all the time, Beth. You heard me say it a zillion times. Where Kim Mulkey's going to inbound the basketball, I'm inbounding it into the scoring area, knowing that Duke has a foul to give. That's a much harder foul to give in the scoring area. Okay, if you inbound
Scoring
the ball,
area below the free throw line.
Yes, like
Yep.
top of the key, where you can score from. Not if you up here by the logo, by the half-court line. That's too easy for them to give a foul. And I'm fouling on the dribble down, not on the dribble up. The dribble up can get you into your shooting motion. You got to cut hard. Duke's going to switch on everything is my anticipation here.
Williams will inbound. Richard has it. LSU down 1. Flage on the drive, blocked by Fournier, and a foul will send Michaela Williams to the line with 9.2 to go. And she turns to Flage, the senior, and says, I got you. And now she needs to back that up at the free throw line.
Kara Lawson telling her team to call timeout. If she misses and you secure the rebound.
She's 7 of 7 at the line. Tie game.
Does Flage have some blood?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they're going to... Oh, this is like icing the free throw shooter.
Quick to fix that. Michaela will step away.
How quick was the trainer down there? That was fast. Get that
Fast
Band-Aid.
Band-Aid. So now this one for the lead. LSU in front. Williams, money at the line. And now a 1-point Tiger lead with 9.2 to go. Duke will advance. It's a 10-0 LSU run. And the Duke drought of 3.5 minutes.
Duke has 19 offensive rebounds in the game. You got to keep an eye on, first of all, you got to be able to inbound the basketball. Duke does have a timeout to give. LSU, I'm switching on everything, and I'm making them catch the ball towards the midcourt stripe. You don't want them to get some momentum going to the basket.
Who needs a touch for Duke?
I want Jackson or Mayer with the ball.
Making the decision.
If Mayer inbounds, she's your best passer. If she's the inbounder, she might get it back. If you throw it into Toby Fournier, let's see if Koval stays on the floor or not. She did a really good job defending the last time.
Here's a look at where we stand here in Sacramento on the right side of your bracket. UCLA, a winner earlier over Minnesota. They are into the Elite Eight for the second year in a row.
Look at Duke showing their alignment early. This is going to be, you got to watch for a slip right here. You got to watch for Toby Fournier on a slip, meaning it looks like she's going to set a screen and then she slips it. Richard on Mayer.
Jordan Wood to inbound. Trying to get it to Jackson. They do on the run. The pitch out to Mayer for three. No good. Out of bounds to the Blue Devils with 2.6 to go.
Tim Mulkey's looking at maybe appealing this. How about Duke going for the three?
Going from Jackson to Mayer from the corner. Taina did have 4 threes already on the night.
I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting a hard drive to the rim.
Yeah. That does appear at first glance to be out of bounds off of LSU. Let's check it out. Yeah, I think that's on the follow through by Zakiya Johnson. Ball on the floor is Duke ball. Debbie, we've seen this a bunch. They love Mayer inbounding if it is Duke's, and then she steps right onto the corner.
I'm looking for Toby Fournier here, too, on a post-up.
Neither side with fouls to give. Possession arrow to LSU. They are the only one with a timeout left. Duke cannot call a timeout on the inbound here. And now LSU will burn its final TO.
Interesting, Coach Mulkey called a timeout right there. I think she wanted to see what Duke had and see if she has the right personnel. But you can't substitute because no time's going off the clock. You just got to be crystal clear with your players that you got to make sure that you deny, you switch, you box out, and you get the rebound.
Strong finish for LSU, 12-1 over the last 4.5 minutes, Debbie.
Well, this is what LSU has done to Duke in the second half, and all game really is off the bounce. Containing dribble penetration is challenging against the LSU Tigers, who average 95 points a game to lead the nation. They're at 85 right now.
So here we go. LSU up 1, 2.6 to go.
Be ready for the slip.
Jordan Wood to inbound. They get it into Jackson. Good if it goes. Around and down for the Blue Devils. Duke advances to the Elite Eight. After missing 2 late free throws, Ashlyn Jackson hits the 3 at the buzzer.
The officials have to go over and make sure it's good, and Polani Spurlock just says it's good. Game over. What a shot.
Duke ends the late drought on the Jackson basket, and they survive and advance, upsetting the 2-seed LSU. And a big postseason and a big day for the ACC continues as the Blue Devils join Notre Dame in the Sweet 16 with UCLA and UConn. And a brilliant career for Flau'jae Johnson comes to an end in Baton Rouge. Your final.
Watch Jackson, number 3, sets a screen and then comes out through and then shows Flau'jae Johnson, flies by. She steps to the side, and that gets all the rim. Wow.
Huge shot for Jackson. Been struggling from downtown late in the season, and she just hits a huge bucket, and Flau'jae can't believe it. The reaction for the Blue Devils as their vengeance tour continues. Beating Baylor and LSU, and now we'll have a shot in the Elite Eight to avenge another regular season loss against UCLA.